myself. We took a time lapse around it. I walked. There you go. Interrupt me. I walked up to
right now.
Hey, have you ever been to the Georgia Guidestones, or do you stay in your basement and eat tons of food that's unhealthy and processed?
Don't need to go.
Okay,
He's never been there.
Stop
He's never seen
jumping in
it.
until you can do 15 consecutive
argument
setups.
requires me going to Georgia Guidestones.
Hey, Curved, I'm disinterested in engaging with you until you can do 15 consecutive. Curve, I'm disinterested until you can do. Well, y'all just have to constantly interrupt, dude. Y'all are clowns.
You and Nathan getting along?
Hey, I'm disinterested in engaging with you until you can do 15 consecutive sit-ups, Curved.
I'm disinterested.
So anyway.
Yeah, anyway, so never. So stop talking.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, you're 100% overweight. So anyway,
say something.
Okay,
true.
Polaris, I walked straight up to the Guidestones myself.
I'm actually doing sit-ups right now.
That's a cool story.
All over the chessboard and not
Hey, can y'all stop interrupting? Y'all want to stop interrupting? Okay, so I went.
You don't want to stop interrupting.
The Babylonian thing and the Greek and the what was it? Arabic.
The four languages on the top capstone.
When you get in the
yeah, it's Babylonian cuneiform is the first one, and then it goes to Egyptian hieroglyphics, and then it goes to Sanskrit, and then it goes to ancient Greek. That's the four languages.
You tell me how you
determined
that Kirk was overweight.
I just can tell.
Just being a badge.
Just want
to ask a quick question on that.
Curved is definitely overweight.
How did you recognize the difference between Babylonian cuneiform and Sumerian?
Oh, it's actually labeled. It's labeled on the site, bro. So like it tells you. Yeah.
No,
like
I just if you verified those facts, whether you were reading Greek, you were reading Babylonian, or you're just reading the label. Which is
well, you can do both. You can do both. I mean, I looked up the languages. Yeah, like the only difference is like with Hebrew, for example, which is not one of the top four, it's one of the bottom eight. It's actually
cuneiform.
Yeah, it's Babylonian block style Hebrew, which stems from the Babylonian cuneiform. So technically, actually, the original Hebrew language was more pictographic. But when I checked all the languages, that's the only discrepancy I saw. Right. So.
Cuneiform is kind of not pictographic.
No, I know, but I'm saying the original Hebrew language was pictographic, but now it's depicted in Babylonian block form.
Backing up his claim about Polaris and
thank you, Curve. Druss, stop derailing like that, Druss. Okay, we're talking about Polaris.
That's fucking WITSIT.
No. We're talking about the Polaris WITSIT. How does that prove that we're not on a ball? Hit them with it.
Yeah, because they say that we're spinning 1,000 miles per hour east while we're revolving around the sun 66,600 miles per hour, shooting through space at 500,000 miles per hour with compounding vectors. We also. Why are you always interrupting?
What the fuck are you guys talking?
This guy's a toolbox. Shut up, bro.
Yeah. So with compounding, with
tools. So guys, look,
compounding vectors.
Yeah, look. If WITSIT can just make his point, then
over the course of years.
Yeah, if WITSIT makes his point, then you boarders can respond. That's fair, right? Because he just joined.
This idea that WITSIT can't make a point.
He's making it now.
So with the compounding vectors over the course of time, the perception of the stars would change drastically. Of course, Polaris has been in the same location for thousands of years in all recordable history. You wouldn't spend. I'm almost done, dude. You wouldn't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to build a megalithic structure and claim astrological abilities on the actual engraving just for it to be accurate for a handful of years.
Yes,
okay,
but you were a religious retard like the guy who
he's not religious.
Oh my god, he's not even religious.
You don't even know. Wait, time out. Who built it? Who built it? Who? Okay, is that a real person? Is R.C. Christian a real person? Is that a real person?
Roman Catholic Christian.
Is R.C. Christian a real person?
No, he's not.
It's a pseudonym. So you don't even know who built it. So we don't know
his own name.
We don't even know who built it.
The secret in the name, R.C. Christian, Roman Catholic Christian.
It isn't his real name.
It doesn't matter.
Catholics aren't Christians. You're way lost, dude. You're way lost, my man.
This is religiously inspired.
Catholicism is antithetical to those that follow Yah. You know nothing now. So feel free to stop diverting.
Religiously inspired object monolith. This is a show of
It's a
power.
cabal stamp, dude.
Hey, I got a question for you. If this was actually something to
This
do with
is a guy
Christianity,
who
if
is
this has something,
who's espousing eugenics.
Where's the cross?
this dude's an idiot. If this has something to do with Christianity, why does it promote the very thing that I'm just going to talk over all you gamma males? I guess I'll turn up. So if this is actually about religion, then how come it's actually antithetical to the prophecies in the scriptures that says that you will have a one world order at the end and you should not comply?
Right, because that's Hebrew. That's what the Jews want. The Jews actually definitely are waiting for that Messiah to return.
Correct, they are. They're waiting on their Moshiach.
WITSIT, kind of
Yes,
like
but the Jews didn't build that stone, man. It says that.
No, they did not. You're right. It's they're participating patsies. We're all supposed to point at them.
Correct. You're right. Hey, you're pretty woke, bro. Yeah.
I am. Bro.
Nicely done, bro.
I've been saying this shit for about 10 years, telling people.
I'm sure on here people won't listen to you, bro. It's a very close-minded place.
No.
We can hear you, Nathan. We can hear you.
You guys know that, right? What's it like sharing a fucking RV with Nathan?
You can't have a compass, a clock, and a calendar
I can only
on a globe,
imagine
bro.
You're asking me how is it traveling around the United States and getting to see all kinds of beautiful places while telling people the truth and kick it with my homie? It's pretty cool.
It must be terrible. It must be
terrible being a loser that hides behind fake names on Discord and lives with his mom and dad and can't understand basic geometry, falsifies your fairy tale model.
Yeah, and then cries about people who live their dreams. Like, what a loser.
Right.
Oh, Austin and Nathan get to go see all the beaches? Oh, it must be terrible.
Oh, they're hanging out with all the fat and make amazing content and ladle gravy? Damn, I feel sorry for them. Look at them harassing all these people that keep asking questions and are super stoked.
And get our number and ask for IG and dap us up and give us hugs and ask us all kinds of questions.
Biscuits and gravy. In their music video. Yeah, we're just harassing the hell out of people. Keep it up, guys. You guys are crushing it.
So anyway, you got any other dumb questions?
Yeah, you can ask me too. I'm happy to take one.
I'd like to say you guys did a good job there, man. On the stones.
So you think the Earth is flat?
Thank you, bro.
I don't think the Earth is flat. I know it's flat. I've tested it for 5 years and falsified the globe. Any more dumb questions?
Well, you obviously didn't compensate for other measurements, so you're just driving yourself crazy, dude.
What measurements? What are you talking about? Oh, that took a long time.
Hey, loudmouth, care to elaborate on the measurements? I haven't. And you haven't done either. I guarantee you doing anything.
What's a circle measurement in degrees, please?
360.
Are we talking about the Earth, or you just want to learn geometry?
What's
360.
What's half?
So you want
What's
to learn
half
geometry? We need to teach you geometry.
What's half?
I learned geometry sophomore year in high school, bro. How old are you?
Half of 360 is 180 degrees.
What's the convexity rate of terra firma if the radius is 3959?
I'm 15.
What's a straight line?
But what's the rate of curvature? What's the convexity rate of terra firma if the Earth's a ball with a circumference of 24,901 miles at the equator, buddy?
What's a straight line?
Oh, so you haven't even done the math to be able to test your model yet?
Question. It's 8 inches per mile squared, dude. Forget it. It's 8 inches per mile squared of curvature, dude.
Boom.
Unless we're seeing that no ball.
Uh-oh. So if we're not limited, so are you saying if we don't see 8 inches per mile squared, then the Earth can't be a ball with a radius of 3959?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So, guys, don't you think we should go test that part?
Hold on, guys. So, look, hold on. So, look, WITSIT, Nate, we've got to let the ballers. Yeah, we've got to let the ballers respond.
Hold on.
Mike, this was for you, so you can respond.
Does it have an atmosphere?
Do you want to be a little more concise? What is the question you wanted to ask, Austin, without 10 people talking at the same time?
Yeah, so look, what's better is if we got a baller responding and a flatty responding. So Moyak is going to respond to your question, Nathan or WITSIT, yeah?
Does the Earth have an atmosphere?
Moyak, yeah.
Okay, so we're at 2021, and the Globers are asking flat earthers if the Earth.
I'm fucking not.
You're saying that
what's happening 360 fucking degrees?
Can I answer? Can I fucking answer the question, guys? Atmosphere is begging the question. Atmos doesn't have a shape.
You guys have no idea what angular perspective is at all.
Stop interrupting, Gamma.
Why are you interrupting?
Yeah.
Dude, was your question about angular perspective, or was it about the atmosphere?
No. Just carry on with Moyak, Nathan. Just carry on with Moyak for the time being.
Are you kidding, guys? Do you guys
Can we get a second question, because Nathan's question didn't really make sense?
Are you guys just like comedians?
Do you have anything, Austin?
What do you talking about? Do we believe there's an atmosphere? Does the Earth have an atmosphere you want? He just told you that atmos means gas. Gas has no inherent shape. It's a begging the question and an oxymoron. It's a contradiction of terms because atmosphere is stupid. Yes, we have air on Earth.
Tell us level means curve, and then say the Coriolis is conservation of momentum, bro. We know all your dumbass tricks. You guys aren't smart.
Okay.
But do you have air in the RV? Is it
there you go. Change the subject because you just got smelled.
So the question then is, why would it be 8 inches per mile squared uniformly across the surface?
No, it's roughly 7.98 inches per mile squared, accurate up to 1,200 miles. That's the maximum rate of convexity. That means that the distance from the center to the outside is the maximum extension rate. It can be less than that, but no greater. Have you not taken geometry before?
Have you not ever used your mind before?
Yeah, I use it all the time. That seems to be why I dismantle you casually.
How would it possibly be that what we would observe would be uniform, like 7.8?
I just now explained that it isn't uniform. Maybe pull out your crayons.
Now, if it can't be uniform, then you can't use that number in a uniform way, can you?
Okay, once again, roughly 7.98 inches per mile squared, accurate up to 1,200 miles. This is because the maximum convexity rate is determined in derivative of the radius value. It can be no greater than that, but it can be less than that. Did you write that down?
It actually, at the other latitudes, it gets up to 3 miles. 3 feet per mile squared at 80 degrees latitude. If you go straight east-west, so it actually gets really bad.
Yeah, it actually gets worse. So, yeah, like as you go north or south, the convexity rate would be much greater. We're actually giving you a benefit and still falsifying your fairy tale.
Really, it'd be much greater. 14 miles.
Dude, it's 3 feet per mile squared east-west.
Let the Globers respond, because again, you know, if they can't respond, go on, Moya. What's the response?
I'm just first off trying to understand what he just said. He said that it would be much greater as you went north. There's 14-mile difference between the equator and the anywhere else on the Earth, north of that.
The equator is the fattest band of latitude east-west.
So that's
you
not
get a thinner band of latitude east-west toward the poles, and the curvature rate would increase from 8 inches from around the equator, the fattest point, to 3 feet per mile squared around 80 degrees latitude. So it's getting really bad east-west.
3 feet per mile squared.
Hey, I got a question. If there's a certain curvature rate at the equator, where the Earth is the widest, and I go north, is the curvature rate going to change? I thought flat earthers were the stupid ones.
East-west would change if you're talking about the band of latitude.
I don't know what
you're serious? So can we just let the Globers answer real fast? If I go at the equator and we have a certain curvature rate, and then I go north of that, does the curvature rate stay the same or does it change?
5.03%, it changes.
Okay, so it changes. So does it curve more or less?
Let's see. I have to think about that.
Let me Google real fast.
Don't waste too many brain cells.
Why would you Google it? WITSIT.
Yeah, why would you have to Google this whenever it's such a simple conversation?
You said that you will Google it.
I was being sarcastic about what he was doing.
Okay, thank you. So what I so was I was being sarcastic as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Congratulations.
Calm down. So does it get greater or not?
Stays the same.
He just said there was a 0.03% change, so y'all disagree. So y'all
Well, you can't because elevation changes, dude.
Elevation changes? That's called a non sequitur.
Dude, elevation changes, dude.
Do you know what a topographical plane is? Dude?
Do you know what sea level is?
Yeah,
dude?
Yeah, I do. Sea level is actually where the water is level, and then you measure a distance above it to determine elevation. What does that have to do with the ball?
Yeah, and real quick,
Globe, more dense.
Explain your globe with the Cartesian coordinates, guys. It's what land surveyors use to survey the Earth, and when I talk to surveyors who've been doing it for 30 years, they don't know your curvature rate because it's not there, clowns.
They don't have to fucking use.
That's for plane
No,
surveying.
because
it's a little bit different
You're
than
right, because it's not there.
surveying.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Bingo.
No, actually, they don't need to use that fucking measurement to do their job.
I know, that's our point.
when you do plane surveying, there are points where you do have to take that curvature into account.
Okay, you're lying. You're lying. You're lying.
No, time out. On the size of the place that you're measuring.
Okay, name one time that using plane survey data you have to account for the curvature of the Earth. Name one time specifically and then cite it. Yeah, I do actually. I know people that build highways for states. Hey, I know people that are contracted through the state that build all the highways.
Things in reference to the curvature of the Earth. Even during plane surveying, you still have to take that into account.
Okay, cite it. You're a liar.
Am I?
Cite it.
You want me to pull back out the handbook for you, or are we going to?
I've read the handbook. I've read it.
This dude hasn't even used
Which one?
I read the Geological Survey handbook.
I'll pull it up right now.
Uh-oh, someone's in over their head.
I have two.
Run for the hills,
like
bro.
one?
I would like for you to cite where a plane survey. I would like for you to cite where a plane survey accounts for a curvature rate, or shut up.
Sure, give me a little bit.
Okay, cool. Go on mute. Feel free to go.
I will tell you this.
You made it up.
You don't even know how.
Did I make it up?
Yes.
Did I make it up?
Yes, because I read it.
Too much. You made it up.
Did I make it up?
Well, you
did I
didn't
read the actual handbook that actually has more pages?
Yeah, you didn't even have. No, you didn't even. Hey, my friend, you didn't make it up yourself because you don't think for yourself.
Yeah, you're not smart enough to make that up. You just heard it here and you repeated it. Now you're caught in a lie.
So no one can even is everyone in the room at least going to admit that that guy's an idiot when he says that curvature is accounted for in plane survey?
I can address your point regarding
you,
that.
but you didn't want to listen to this.
I told you to cite it because you made it up.
I told you I was going to pull it up for you once I'm done driving.
Cool story. So name one time that they take plane survey data. Hey, I got a question for you to prove how ignorant you are. So can you name one?
You wanted to continue with this.
Can you name one time that they take plane survey data and they don't establish a plumb vertical to an assumed perpendicular plane? Can you name one exception?
No. Can you tell me why they establish plumb? Hold on. Can you tell me what they're establishing the plumb to?
Yeah, the assumed perpendicular.
No.
Yeah.
That's what the plumb says.
It's a vertical line perpendicular to the plane.
The plumb is going down towards the center of the mass.
No, it's going down.
It's perpendicular, dude.
Yeah, it's perpendicular to the plane, dude.
Perpendicular to the plane in reference to the
mute him while the other guy's talking.
Center of mass.
Are you saying that you can have plumb without it being perpendicular to the plane?
Is this guy already drunk?
Yeah, no, but like because in order for
establish anything.
Yeah, let the ballers. I mean, it's going to sound ridiculous, but let them respond. Please,
so you're arguing that it's not mutually inclusive for plumb to be perpendicular to the plane. Can you give one example where you get plumb and not have it perpendicular to the plane?
No, what I said, hold on.
Let him finish.
Before we go any further, I said that plumb is in reference to the center of mass, right?
Well, but you also said it's not perpendicular to the plane.
I'm going to show it to you.
Okay, to know the center of mass, do you need to know the radius value?
Yes.
You literally don't know your religion, dude. It's like I went into a church and some preacher's talking down to me about the Bible, but he never read Genesis. Do you need to know the radius value?
You've asked me a question, and I can't even hear you because you keep going.
Answer the question.
So do you want? I don't even know what the fucking question is because you don't shut up.
Okay. Would you need to know the radius value?
The radius value for what?
So you don't even remember what claim you just made.
What the fuck do you think?
You said that you said that. Okay, let me break it down for you. Listen, my friend, let's calm down. You said
clarify something here.
Okay, I got you. Calm down. You said that we established plumb relative. Okay, listen, my friend, calm down. We get it. You're spiraling. You said that you established plumb, guys. Established plumb relative to the center of mass. I then said, in order to do that, would you need to know what the radius was?
You determine that as soon as you take two plumb lines and compare them to each other.
Wrong.
If I'm gonna build a road, do I have to measure and compensate for the direction of water flow? And if I'm building on a hill, and if it's gonna rain, if all this water is gonna go down the hill, and if I need all the water to flow off the top of the road, then I'm
is that is that a not? Water seeks its level, so you have to build accordingly on the topographical plane. It's a topographical. Hey, do you know what a topographical plane is?
Yeah, I do actually.
Okay, does it have elevation differential?
Fucking better.
Wow, you got dismantled. Okay, back to this other guy. Did you need another radius value?
Yes, you do.
Dude, you're a flat earther. Your fucking whole cognitive thinking is dismantled.
Well, Igor, let Soroki was answering. Igor, do you hear me? Igor,
go cry to your mom.
Soroki was answering.
That's what she's there for.
Soroki was answering.
Go cry to your mom.
For goodness sake. So, Soroki, you still here? You were answering WITSIT about the radius and stuff. Come back.
Flat fucking moron.
Yeah, he was not answering WITSIT.
Yes.
He doesn't know anything.
I was.
Okay, if perpendicular is relative to the center of mass, do you need another radius?
No.
Oh.
Go on, just tell us your method.
Know the radius to know where the center of mass is?
Tell us your method. Tell us your method, Soroki.
Okay. You're not measuring to the center of mass.
Okay, what's the methodology? Hey, you said you established plumb relative to center.
Let me finish. You asked me a question, so I'm answering you, and I'm explaining it to you, but you keep trying to overtalk me. All right? So, you pull out that plumb, and you're establishing the horizontal in your specific area, right?
You pull out plumb and you establish vertical, and it's relative.
Plumb doesn't establish perpendicular. You said it.
Why did you say to the center of mass?
I'm sorry. I misspoke there. Vertical, yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so you drop the vertical, which is assumed perpendicular to the plane. You said it's relative to the center of mass, and I said, do you need the radius value to determine the center of mass? And you said no.
All plumb lines diverge.
No, because you are not.
Because he was answering the question that he had.
Can't hear the answer.
You asked me about the plumb bob.
Yeah.
And you asked me if I was establishing the radius.
Hey, if it's relative to the center of mass, I would have to know the radius value.
And you're completely glossing over my answer.
No, he's not glossing over it. How do you recognize the center of mass?
Well, now you're going to start taking measurements about the radius of these, right? But before that, hold on. You didn't let me finish, did you? Before that, you would ask me about the plumb bob and what you were establishing, and I told you the vertical.
Go on, we gotta let the borders answer. We gotta let them answer. Go on,
so let me get this straight. Before anything to do with radius, you drop the plumb bomb, and that's how you know you have center of mass. And the way you know it's center of mass is because that's where the plumb bomb's showing.
No. See, you completely misconstrued everything I just told you.
You said we didn't need a radius, and then you turned around and said, then we have to get the radius.
You're going to continue to overtalk, right? We are going out and we're doing surveying, right?
Yeah, we do that.
Establishing first. What is the what? Vertical,
plumb.
Right?
Plumb is vertical, perpendicular to the assumed plane. Go ahead. That's why it's called plane survey data. You've obviously never even read how to do it.
We are establishing the vertical, right?
Yeah, relative to
it's
the
perpendicular survey data.
You drop the plane, establishing vertical, perpendicular to the assumed plane. Go ahead.
So, did I have to take the radius into account for that?
No, that's our whole point. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Okay. So
you never take the radius.
So you don't have a radius.
Did we have to take account of the radius?
Welcome to Flat Earth, dude.
And you're still not going to listen. What's the sense of having a conversation with you if you're not going to pay attention?
This is impossible. We can't hear Soroki. His mic is not even that. Soroki, turn your mic up. We can't really hear ya. Grim, stop over talking him.
We should try to be better about over talking.
And everyone else needs to stop the scoffing after every response to wipe out the response.
It's terrible.
Soroki, he said we don't need the radius, and then he said right after that, then we have to go get the radius.
Yes. I'm sure it's. Well, you're just doing more of it, aren't you?
I'm not allowed to laugh at that.
Well,
look.
No, you're not.
Listen to where we're said with it.
Jim.
All right, please, let's get back to Soroki.
The only thing you want to do is put forth your rhetoric.
All right, can we get back to the point? We're going to lose the point here. Soroki.
The point where you overtalk me and put words in my mouth about what we were talking
about. Go on, start again. Plumb bob, go for it.
Go ahead, Soroki. The floor is yours, bro.
Go for it.
No. I'm not going to go through that again.
Okay, fair enough. So I'll recap it then.
Hold on. Since you don't want the information, you can go look it up.
I have. I read all of the survey data compilations. You obviously haven't.
All of it. Okay.
No, not all that's
Okay.
ever been done.
Keep
I
going,
read the
all of it.
Geological Survey
Keep
Handbook.
telling
though.
me all about all the data.
Okay, I will
Keep
then.
going.
Stop interrupting me. I'll explain it to you. So what you do
Okay,
using
let's go.
okay. So plane survey data is the only accurate, efficient methodology to measure the Earth, and the way that
Wrong.
we do this is we establish plumb.
Wrong.
This is an assumed perpendicular
You've
to
already started off wrong.
Look, guys. Look. What's wrong with you? So anyway,
put your money where your mouth is. Where was he wrong?
Let him
so
get it out.
you drop plumb, which is vertical, and of course this is relative to the perpendicular plane. You then compile short increments of measurements from different angles to ensure accuracy, right? And then you compare this to the known elevation, or more so the sea level. This is really all it is. This is the only way that we contemplate any type of topographical layout. So then you said that actually that's not perpendicular, and though we assume it's to be perpendicular to the plane, it's actually relative to the center of mass. I said, oh, how do you determine that? Would you need the radius value? You would objectively. This is actually what's in question right now. So for you to invoke some type of survey claiming that plane survey assumes a curvature rate and doesn't need to know the radius but has to have the radius is so incredibly stupid. Would you like to clarify or something?
Plumb lines diverge.
Okay,
That's
cool.
a good synopsis.
It was more like a mud stomp.
Moving on.
Well, surely there's a
So
globe.
does anyone have any evidence the Earth?
Yeah, what's the globe rebuttal?
He gets an A for effort.
Plumb lines diverge.
WITSIT, you stepped on him so hard into the mud pedal that you actually got a little bit of mud on your shoe.
Oh, let's give him a chance. Soroki, what's the rebuttal? Surely you can rebuttal the flat earthers with this point, yeah? Soroki, you still here?
The correct term is to rebut, not to rebuttal.
Yeah, to rebut, whatever you want to do. Do you have a response, Soroki?
He said, but.
No response. Moik, surely you have a response to this problem for the globers.
All plumb lines diverge. That's a pretty damn good evidence.
That's a baseless assertion that plumb lines are divergent.
It's evidence. Whether you believe it or not.
It's not
Wait,
evidence.
plumb line is evidence of what?
He's saying it's evident that plumb lines aren't parallel. It's bullshit.
Oh, what is?
That plumb lines aren't parallel.
No. What is evidence? What specifically is evidence that the plumb lines aren't parallel?
I already tore the main surveyor shit to shreds.
Wait, say again? What indicates divergence?
The measurement of plumb lines.
The measurement of plumb lines in what methodology?
Where'd
the
you
main
measure
surveyor
this?
used.
Main surveyor? Okay, so have you read the study? Do you not know anything about it?
WITSIT, can I ask
even name what the method is.
WITSIT, can I ask you a question about his refraction numbers in the debate you guys had?
Sure.
Let me post a picture of it in a debate chat because he has a bunch of refraction numbers and I'm not even, I didn't hear you guys get into it, but let me just post this in the debate chat box real quick.
Let me
tell
guess.
Me if you can
Let me guess. Is the error of refraction greater than the measurement itself?
They take an assumed approximation of refractive index, and then they take a weighted mean. So they take numerous observations throughout the course of days or different days, and then they throw out any observation that's not in that predetermined window, right? And then they actually weight the measurements according to the assumed radius value using the NDSA, and then they claim to have an idea of where it is. Right, and the convergence is very minute, even over a few hundreds of yards, because the Earth is supposedly so big with the R value of 3959. The divergence is very, very minimal, and they take an average of a fluctuation of an apparent location with a weighted mean.
Hold on.
I've read the study, so you have.
It's in the chat right there. He's got column 1. Hold on a second, Grim. He's got column 1 humidity, 57 and 55% for series 1. Is that, did he measure at point A and point B where he was looking at and looking from?
I guess that's what he would be claiming, yeah.
Or was it a measurement of in the middle of the higher and lower? I don't understand what these measurements are.
I would have to see it all in context.
Before he did the measurement, and then he checked the humidity after doing the measurement. And that was the change.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, because the humidity drops 2%, right? And the temperature goes up 1.
So that measurement was just for 1 point, or was it from where he was looking?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know. He may have measured 5 at each location, He told me himself in the debates that one of them had to get thrown out because the R value would have been way too big. He literally said that himself in the
but
debate.
it would have been an R value.
An R value but if the R value they told us is wrong, dude, everything they told us is a lie.
It never comes up concave or flat.
Hey, if the R value they told us is a lie, then everything else they told us is also a lie.
Not a lie.
You can't go to space without an accurate R value.
Everything, your whole fantasy.
Why aren't they parallel?
Why aren't they parallel? Because you're observing them through the atmosphere 200 to 300 yards away. So the perception fluctuates, even though very minimally.
Always show curvature.
Either way, you don't have
they never show curvature. What are you talking about? What you have to do is assume. What you have to do is take a fluctuation window of the apparent location and the deviation within. You have to assume that it's curving. You then have to use spherical trigonometry, and then you are going to take a weighted mean.
Yes.
Do you understand what the words I'm saying mean?
That's to get it from 4,700 mile radius to a 3959 radius.
You don't get the 3959 mile radius. I debated an actual surveyor that. Why are you interrupting me?
You interrupt all the time. What the fuck are you talking about?
I only interrupt back.
Why would you be a fucking?
Oh, okay. Once I get interrupted 3 times, I'll talk over you, Gammas. That's the way that. Okay. Do you have any evidence the Earth curves?
Yeah, sure. I do have evidence.
Okay. Can I get a measurement of curvature? Because I'm going around the U.S. right now testing it. So wherever you want me to go measure this curvature.
Can you actually present flat Earth, idiot?
Yeah, I can
present evidence. Present evidence about flat Earth.
Okay. So every single body of water that we.
I'm waiting for the evidence, WITSIT.
Well, you're interrupting. Okay. You're not waiting. You're interrupting.
Laurie,
no, I'm interrupting
Laurie.
because I'm waiting for the evidence. You said that you're gonna present evidence.
Yes.
Oh,
he's like this.
Yes, you are spiraling with it because you cannot handle the pressure.
He's not even interested in what you got to say. He's just gonna keep going. Evidence. Laurie, you gonna let him answer or what?
That was funny. That was classic. What's your evidence of flat Earth? You started telling him, I'm waiting. Right. I'm waiting.
Yeah, he's a tool.
So I said, actually, how that all happened too is I was like, so do you have evidence of curvature? He said, yes. I said, okay, how do I get a measurement of curvature? And then his response was, can I get evidence of flat Earth? But anyway, I got evidence for flat Earth.
I'm just trying to see if you have evidence or something.
Yeah, you ready? I falsified the heliocentric model the other day. You want to know how?
You didn't. That's how.
Yeah, I did. So
no, you
took it. You haven't even heard the methodology yet.
Well, I know that your methodology is full of shit because it isn't flat. So you didn't.
That's a cool story. So we took a time lapse of the star trails. We took a time lapse of the star trails, and they're centralized to.
You're spiraling, bro.
To Polaris, that's lined up for decades in the Georgia Guides.
You are spiraling.
I'm literally not.
Did you look south with that measurement and look at this the star trails in the south?
Say again.
The south and see the star trails.
Were we in the south?
You can see the south. You can see them rotating around the south.
We took a time lapse of the visible sky, dude.
Okay. So did you take one facing north and did you take one facing south?
We took one north because that's where Polaris is.
You can't see the center of rotation, but you can see where.
No, it's a test about Polaris. Are you not listening?
I'm asking you a question. All you have to do is say, no, we didn't do that.
I already did because that wasn't the test.
So you should.
It takes 2.5 hours to get a time lapse of the star trails like that. We went out there when no one was there at like 3 at night. None of the Globers here would ever do any of this because you just blindly believe things. But we went and tested it, and so we went with no light pollution, no one else there. We had to set up the P1000 and wait 2 to 2.5 hours to capture the time lapse centralized on Polaris through the hole, and it worked perfectly, bro.
Perfectly to the south too.
No, do you not understand that thing isn't in any way efficient and has no use case if the Earth is a heliocentric model? Do you not understand?
You go down near the equator and take a nice 360 time lapse of the star trails, and then you explain what geometry works when you include the South Pole.
But that's an assumption right there that it has to be geometry. It could be perspective and optics off of, say, a reflective curved glass firmament or something.
Yeah, and sorry, I was talking to someone about lunch. So what did you ask?
You can try to illustrate that, but it don't work.
Yeah, what doesn't work is when I can take time lapse from a single portion of the sky and I'll see two different perceived rotations in the same direction. And on your model, the reason the stars appear to move is because actually the Earth is moving east. So you can't see two different perceived motions in the same portion of the sky on your model, yet we get to see them all the time.
WITSIT, do you want to go back to the survey?
Okay, we'll skip over all that then. Yeah, what's up with survey?
So I provided you with a link where a group of surveyors got together talking about how there is a difference in 10,000 feet that they were measuring using plane surveying for the curvature of the Earth.
Oh, yeah? Where do they do this at?
Where do they do that at? I don't know. Where did they?
So you haven't even read this thing?
I don't know. They didn't explain exactly where they were doing
That's not true.
But I'm
That's
pretty
not
sure
true.
it was on a
That's a
job site
lie.
that
They have to tell you where it is. So try again. That's what surveying does.
what?
That's its entire point, is to determine the different locations layouts. So
what you want me to do is you want me to go
I want you
in
to understand
and
things that
find
you
out
propose.
exactly the location that they were talking about,
Yeah.
so that you can go, well, they didn't do that. That sounds like a lot of
I don't do that.
bullshit to
I don't
me.
do that. No,
And
that's
unfortunately, what
you're
I'm
trying to
saying
self-project
you
because you don't even
is that this
understand
is
what you
surveyors-
decided.
This is 3 surveyors having this conversation.
That's cool. I know about 20 of them. So do you know where this was done and what was the methodology?
All right, I'm sorry. What did these surveyors say? I'd like to hear the fucking answer.
None of them said that they account for curvature because that's a lie. So how
Really?
did they
Okay,
account
hold
for
on,
curvature?
Hold on. Here we go. Ready?
He doesn't even know where. Was this done over land or water?
A fellow surveyor and I have been discussing one of the recent projects and some of the disagreements they have been coming up with or having with the office.
So they don't even agree with the office. Okay, go ahead.
You're spiraling with
Hold on.
This is awesome.
The city is requiring that the project is tied into a state plane project coordinate system and projected to the ground. The project is about 10,000 feet wide and has a grid of 0.66 feet of difference between a grid and ground projection over the length of the project. There you go, sir.
You literally just now gave a flat earth evidence that the assumption of the earth being a sphere causes it to be drastically off whenever put onto the spherical layout. Welcome to flat earth, bro. Maybe you should read things before you cite them next time. What a clown.
I'm sorry that you disagree with these surveyors, but, you know, that's your prerogative.
The surveyors just now made my point.
The surveyors, you didn't even read it. I gave you a small snippet of it.
Oh, you read it for us, buddy.
You didn't even read it, did you?
You read enough.
I just heard what you said, and you don't even know what.
Deny.
Okay, so try not to interrupt me. So what you just now clearly read out for the entire audience was the surveyors acknowledging that whenever you take the actual compiled plane survey data and then you try to lay it out on a spherical layout, that there's a drastic, discrepancy. So how is that evidence against me? Enlighten me. Yeah, maybe read something before you try to cite it next time. So anyone, who's next?
Who's next?
What were you saying about the diverging star? What were you saying about the star trails? About how we're seeing them different directions in the same camera shot?
Yeah, like if you take a time lapse, if you take a time lapse in a single direction and you tape a certain portion of the sky, at times you can catch the stars going in different directions in the same portion of the sky. This is impossible on a globe Earth.
Yeah, I've brought
know
that to
that
him
there
before too
are-
about the diverging star trails.
Yeah. Also, something else that we're going to test is that when I'm talking. Something else that we're going to test
I'm asking
is...
a question about your previous question. So can you post a picture demonstrating what you're talking about?
Sure, in just a second.
And can you also show the logic of why you think that shouldn't happen on the globe?
Yeah, because according to
so that you actually have a full argument.
Yeah, I've presented those types of pictures here over 30 times. I'll do it in a second, but not on your command. We've all seen them. And yeah, what's the logical
If you want to
Stop
do it on my
interrupting
command,
me.
then maybe you are
Stop interrupting me. Stop
if you
interrupting
want
me.
to do it on my command, then maybe you don't have the balls to do this.
No, I'm on my iPad. I have thousands of pictures. If you think I'm about to look through
You're
thousands
spiraling, Twitch. You're spiraling.
Okay, so
Post
can
the
you
link.
please stop interrupting me?
At least let him give his argument. Go ahead. Rich.
So the logical premise is, of course, they claim that even though it appears that the stars are moving, that's just a perception derivative of the fact that the Earth spins. Okay, the Earth spins 1,040 miles per hour east at the equator. Supposedly, that's a singular direction. If I look into the sky and the stars look like they're moving, and it's just optical because the Earth is moving east, they would have to all move one direction when you're standing on one location of the Earth spinning in one direction. Yeah, we see two different motions, two different directions of motion in the same portion of the sky, falsifying the notion that it is because the Earth spins east.
Show it. A satellite or
Where did you record this?
Where'd I record this? I'll drop all the pictures, and we're gonna go do it more. So I haven't. I'm about to go do it myself. So anyway. Nathan's done it.
Oh my god, I've seen the fucking.
Hey, and then check this. Hey, I'll drop it. I have about 20 pictures of it happening. You can easily find it. You people just want to believe the Earth is a ball that defies physics. Brought to you by Jesuits. You don't know it's a ball?
Yeah, I do. I watch the fucking stars go in a fucking circle.
Have you ever tested the Earth at all? Yeah, the stars going in a circle is a flat Earth evidence. Are you not listening?
Yes, it is.
What a loser! I know the Earth. The ball, the stars go in a circle above it.
You don't even know what stars do.
So,
hey, I got a question about your
You don't know
stars.
what stars are. You don't know anything else, dude. You don't even know how any of that shit
Stars
works.
always
You don't
reset
even
to
know.
the same exact position. That's what they do.
And Polaris stays right in the center of the Guidestones forever. That's why they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars building them.
WITSIT, I got a question about your stars.
They're not my stars, so go ahead. Ask me some stupid question to divert away from the fact that it's not a
the
ball.
other way?
Because you can tape them in the
How
sky.
do you know that there's stars going the other way?
You can tape them in the sky.
So how do you know that there's stars?
Because how do we know there's stars?
How do you know that there's stars?
Okay, you time-lapse star trails, they'll go in different directions in the sky. Which part's confusing?
Satellites? What the fuck?
How do
They're
you
not
know
satellites,
that
you
those are
moron.
stars? All you're saying is you're taking
Okay, I'll
pictures
send a
of
picture.
something,
You
but
people
you're
are
not
so lost.
quantifying what they are.
I can clarify. I can clarify what kind of case WITSIT is talking about. So he's talking about when you're in the equator and then you see in the wrong.
It doesn't have to be at the equator.
If you cannot listen to my explanation, then maybe you have a problem.
It's not the equator. It's not.
You can then wait for me to give the argument, and then you can clarify afterwards.
It's not the equator. Go ahead.
When they say what stars, shut up. Let's go.
It's not the equator. Go ahead.
You're spiraling. If you cannot keep my argument, then you're spiraling.
Oh yeah, you got no argument without the straw man, huh?
No,
I'm giving my argument. So there's a good picture right there. Full decisions posted it for me. Is this at the equator? What about that one? Is that one on the equator?
It's near enough to the equator.
It's near enough to the equator. So if I go into the northern,
we don't need to be at the exact equator. If we look in the south, on the globe we should see a contrary rotation, and then to the north a contrary rotation. Are you with me on that, WITSIT?
Okay. Are you saying that if I go make this observation in the United States, I can't see it because I'm not close enough to the equator?
Depends on where you are on the United States.
Where in the United States would I be close enough to the equator to see two different perceived motions of stars?
I believe it would be Texas.
Arizona.
You believe Texas and Arizona?
Hawaii.
Texas, yeah.
You people just make things up. You are literally religious zealots.
So you're saying that we cannot see that in Arizona. Can you provide evidence that we cannot?
Oh, I bet we can see it. It falsifies your model. We can see it all over the place.
You can see the counter rotation. You can see the counter rotation all the way up to Canada.
I know that falsifies your model.
Shut up. You can see it from anywhere in the United States all the way up to Canada. You can see counter rotation. You just cannot see the center point of rotation.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Exactly. Why would that be welcome to
How is there being two celestial poles? Welcome to Flat Earth.
No. If we can see counter rotation in the north, it falsifies your model.
You are spiraling.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, hey Jim, why did the stars appear to spin on your model?
We see counter rotation in the south from the north.
Why do the stars appear
How
to
is this
spin?
difficult to understand?
Because you can't see those stars moving the opposite direction when you're in the north block by the convexity of terra. Y'all have to keep interrupting me. Y'all have to keep interrupting me because I'm dismantling
you. Turn around and face in the other direction.
Okay, so if I look in the same direction and I see two motions, could that happen on your model, Jim?
That could not if you're looking in the same direction. However, do you have evidence that that's occurred? These pictures are not evidence that that's occurred.
Okay, I'm going to go do it myself. You won't do it because you're afraid.
You don't have evidence.
I have all the observations that hundreds of other people have made, and I'm going to go do it myself.
Hold on a minute. That's not true. That hundreds of other people have made an observation where they see counter-rotation looking in a single direction. So rotation and counter-rotation looking in one direction.
You cannot see counter rotation on one portion of the
deflection.
Earth.
How about that? Counter deflection, WITSIT.
Well, you cannot see it on a Earth that spins one direction because all the stars move that same perceived direction relative to your motion, dude.
I agree. However, you have not established that you've seen it yet. You're just telling us that you're going to see it.
Okay, yeah, we have tons of pictures of it, and I said all I did was ask
hundreds of people who have also seen it, and I've never heard of any of them.
Okay, well, you already conceded my point because I just asked if you agree that's impossible on a globe Earth, and you said yes. So I'll go get the evidence for you, Jim. In a couple weeks, I'll let you know how your fairy tale religion is proven to be false. So let's move on to another flat Earth.
Well, hold on. Before we do that, currently you don't have that evidence, so I don't know why.
Yeah, we do.
I don't know why you're coming off so arrogant about this.
You can't even answer why it happened.
As if you're let me speak without interrupting for a minute. Just calm down. To be taking this arrogant position on this and claiming that hundreds of people have seen this, when actually no person has seen this, there's no recording of this, and what you're saying is that astronomers who are all over the USA and all over the world, who are looking in the sky every night, none of them have noticed this, but you are going to. So yes, I will look forward to you presenting this evidence.
Cool story. So are you done?
It is
okay,
a cool story.
So we have all kinds of. Okay, cool. Shut up then. So we have all kinds of observations of two different in the same sky, and this case happens on your very. Are you going to just keep interrupting me?
Yes, because you're making the claim that you have these observations when you've literally just made the claim that you need to go and.
You're such a gamma, Jim.
Shut
no
up.
one cares.
Shut up. When you've literally just made the claim.
I'm about to go throw the football, dude. Something that none of you gammas are coordinated or athletic enough to do. Hey, here's the deal, Jim. I'm leaving. No one cares. Gamma, Panda, no one cares. Okay, so
I care when you've just made the claim that you need to go and make this observation, and now you're telling us you've got the observation. If you've got the observation, show the fucking observation, or admit you do not have this observation. You're just once again arguing from if we had this evidence. Wouldn't that prove the Earth is flat? Well, yes, it would, but you don't fucking have it, do you?
So anyway, yeah, we have the observations. I can't give a personal testimony of the fact that. Stop interrupting me, dude.
Show
your evidence.
Okay, so I can't actually validate personally and verify the fact that it was in a singular portion of the sky. So I'm gonna stop interrupting me. I'm gonna go test it, just like we tested Polaris. Just like we're gonna test it. Stop interrupting me. Just like we're gonna test and see if stars intersect the marine horizon. We're gonna make long distance observation, testing the convexity of the Earth. We're gonna go and measure exactly how the sky doesn't align with your claimed vectors. You interrupt me because I dismantle your religion. Y'all are all gamma males. This is a good time. Thanks for killing an hour. I'll catch up with y'all later. Peace out. WITSIT gets it. Clown World Tour. If you want to not be lame, go test the Earth or stop talking about it. Peace out.
Polaris boy. Polaris boy.
What on earth is he saying, Polaris?
I think I won that one.
He thinks that Polaris is at the exact center of the sky? That's incorrect entirely.
I'm pretty sure
He's
it comes up through the horizon
we're
getting
this more and more in Flat Earth, where they just imagine a piece of evidence that they'd really like to have and argue from the point of from that, as if they've got it.
Or they reinterpret
what was
more
the claim he
evidence
made, though?
as evidence for themselves.
He was claiming he's saying he's seeing two celestial poles looking in a single direction.
That's not what he said, Jim.
Oh, what did he say, Nick?
He said nothing about two poles, Jim. You're lying.
He said that the stars, they move one direction and then they stop and they go another direction.
Counter rotation. That requires two poles.
No, it doesn't.
Of course it does.
No, it doesn't.
How do you have something rotating without a center point?
You can have all types of different effects.
Love to hear that.
Well, technically, you could have counter.
You mean on your model?
Around one pole.
How could you?
Right.
You could
What
only
he
have
claimed.
rotation
What he
if there
claimed.
were two different fields in the same. If you had two poles overlapping each other, going different directions, you would still have two poles per second.
That's not what he said.
Yeah, what he claimed was that the stars would move one direction, they would stop, and then turn and move another direction,
That's
which
not
would
what
be
he
like
said
as if.
either.
That is literally what he said.
when he's
He said
looking
there's
in one
evidence that the
direction,
stars will
you
move,
have two-
stop, and then go
two
the opposite
rotation
direction.
stars.
That is literally what he said, Ricky. I was
He
listening
said-
carefully.
He said nothing about
I
stopping.
never heard that. He may have
He
said
said
it. I never
nothing
heard
about stopping. Y'all are liars.
But you're Rocky. You're kind of posing like he misunderstood Jem, but he kind of like let Jem back him into the corner and then admitted he didn't have whatever he's acted like he should have. He kind of admitted
Dude,
he
he
didn't have.
never claimed to have it personally. He always admitted he was going to do it. He's on his way to doing it.
No, okay,
He
yeah.
had other people's
He said he
postings
had
of
the
this.
observations, Rakia. He said they were on his iPad.
other people's observations. He said he had
so
other
they exist, whatever.
just like y'all do. So nothing. So y'all can't use anything from NASA or anybody else. Anybody else's other observation that y'all say proves the globe, you can't use.
I don't believe he has. I don't believe he has anybody else's observations.
Being stupid.
Yeah, that's
He
the
said
point.
there are
He doesn't
on
have
his
the
way to
observation.
do it himself, to verify it himself.
However, I don't believe he has anybody else's currently. And if he had, he would have showed them. And he claimed to have hundreds. So he wasn't being very honest, I think.
Rakia, what was his claim?
Unlike you being so honest about him saying two poles, right?
Rakia, what was his claim?
Counter rotation. Okay, he didn't specifically say two poles. He said he was seeing counter rotation in the same portion of the sky. Those were his words.
Looking up in the same direction, seeing two rotations of stars.
Right.
Correct.
Well, that's not
Nothing
true. He's
about
talking
two
bollocks.
poles.
That's bollocks.
So you admit that you blatantly lied about what he said?
No,
Can I ask everybody else?
Again.
So you admitted that you misrepresented what he said.
No, I didn't misrepresent him in any way whatsoever.
So you think a flat earther believes in two poles then, Jim? Are you a moron? Are you a moron?
That's what WITSIT
Yes, I
said.
do think
No, that's not what he said. Nothing
I will
about two
explain
poles.
why I think
Jim misrepresented or blatantly lied, one of the two.
Right. Again, I've explained this to you. Why? Shut up. I've explained this to you once already, but I'll explain it again. If there is rotation in this sense, if we're seeing stars rotate, then there must be a center point of that rotation. It may not be visible, but there must be a center point of that rotation. He is claiming there is rotation and counter rotation. That requires two center points. Now,
And did he claim? He claimed that he could see from Canada. Oh damn!
Now, admittedly, he did not say two poles. However, he did say counter rotation in the same portion of the sky, and that requires ultimately two poles. Maybe not two pole stars, but it does require two poles. If you can, either of you, shut up. If you can explain to me how it doesn't require that, go ahead.
If it were an optical effect,
may I ask you
like
a question,
perspective.
No, hold on, Zan. Let Percent explain this. Percent, turn your mic up. You're very quiet now.
I was saying if it were an optical effect at play, where the farther stars look like they're bending away and they have like a different kind of a rotation, that they belong to a different kind of rotation, then that could explain it.
And that's exactly what he claimed.
No, there would still be a center point to that rotation.
Yeah, but just one center point.
Right?
Yeah.
How would there be two lots of rotation in two directions and only one center point?
Because it
Two
would
overlapping
depend
poles.
on your position and your perspective. Like it might
And
be
the
an
angle you're looking at onto a
Right,
curved
but if it
surface.
goes all the way
That
around,
does
guys.
not answer the fucking
question.
That would give you
Correct.
two overlapping
Not an
poles.
answer. So now we're saying this is concentric. So there are stars in the center going one way, and then there are stars on the outside going the other way around the same pole.
Well, they would
No
be
one
going the
said
same
that.
way theoretically, but due to your perspective, it seems like it's diverging.
There's
So
a long book for 500.
Kind of like when you move an arrow past a glass of water and it appears to change direction, but the arrow actually doesn't change direction, it just appears to. It's an optical illusion.
I don't think that helps
It
you much,
depends on
though,
angle.
because then what you're saying is that we actually have the appearance of having two center poles. It's just appearance. So both
wait.
you and percentage are now at the point where you are kind of saying that we have the appearance of having two center
So let's
poles,
back
but
up a little
we
bit.
don't
Do you
actually.
agree that that could happen? That if you place an arrow
appears
behind
the
a
way it
glass of
ended up,
water
absolutely
and you
not.
move it past that glass of water, it appears to change direction, but it
Right,
actually
it
doesn't.
does.
Are you
It does.
suggesting there's
Right,
an
it's
enormous
just an
glass of
optical
water
illusion.
between us?
And
I'm
moving is
suggesting
different
there
than
could be
pointing.
a
Moving,
dome-shaped sky with a different medium causing all types of optical illusion based on your angle that you're
There's
viewing
no
them
reason
and
to
their
assume
Yeah.
that. We have no evidence that suggests it.
Right, and no other human has ever seen that, but WITSIT's going to spot it. Does that seem likely?
Jim,
That's like saying there can be unicorn
do
parks
you
in the
think
air.
that what WITSIT is talking about? Like, if you look, I put a 360 time lapse of both poles. It's roughly from the equator. But if you look at, say, the North Pole in that video, and you're just dead looking at the North Pole, you have some stars that appear to rotate clockwise and some that appear to rotate counterclockwise around that point. Do you think that's what he's
say that
again, Zant.
No, Zant, what?
Well, the other point I would make quickly on this is that WITSIT did actually post two images, and they were those, wide angles done at or near the equator. So
yeah,
and people said, but they're near the equator. So the examples he was providing. Hang on. The example
you said WITSIT posted those.
Yeah, I think he did.
Who posted it? He
I
acknowledged
think
it.
that was someone else.
I don't think so.
He didn't post
No,
any reads.
Druss posted them.
If
WITSIT
I'm
acknowledged
wrong,
them and
then
said those
my
are good.
point is invalid. So
Hey, you should be wrong
This is
again.
exactly. Do we all agree this is exactly what it sounded like WITSIT was describing?
We don't know what he was describing because he was so unclear about it.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking if what I'm describing, like if you look at that time lapse, you'll have certain points that are rotating clockwise and some that are counterclockwise. Like they look like they're getting closer together, right? So is his observation of that what he's claiming to be counter rotation because he's thinking one is clockwise and one is counterclockwise?
I think
I don't
so.
understand your
why he called
question,
it flat
Zant.
Earth.
No, because for a start, this is a 360-degree video, and he's claiming he sees these in the same portion of the sky. I think were the words he used.
This isn't what you see
Yeah, but
with your eyes.
he was saying looking towards just the North Pole, you could see both like rotations, and I'm thinking that he's talking about clockwise and counterclockwise around that pole.
But you can't.
I understand what you're saying, Curved. I'm saying if you look at a video of a time lapse,
Yeah, but Zan, it sounded like he was talking about this picture, like you posted, seeing past the equator, not them spinning different directions.
All right, go ahead, Curved.
All right, Zant, you're saying counterclockwise and clockwise, looking at the North Pole. To be clear, no, they all look. All the stars that you see looking at the north, they're going to all move counterclockwise. Now, there's elements of difference in description depending on which way you want to describe it, what terms and all that, but counterclockwise is the only way that you can describe it if you're using that reference.
Look at the time lapse.
There's no clockwise.
Yes, it's a 360. It's a 360 view, Zant. It's not going to give us what WITSIT is describing, which is using just like a 30-degree angle camera.
not a 360 view that he's going to see here.
So I know, but I'm not telling you to look at the full 360. I'm saying like center up the north point, right? If you center up the North Star on that 360 video, so you're only seeing, I don't know, 180 degrees or something, not even, but around there, right? And you just watch the very start of the time lapse from like 6 seconds to, let's see, how long does it take for it to resolve? Like even from 14 seconds, right? If you look at like the left side towards the left of the North Star, then you'll get points that appear to be moving towards each other, which make it look like
what video?
Let me repost it.
That is because it's a 360-degree angle camera.
Right.
Also, on the globe model, if you were standing on the direct North Pole, every direction would be south, and they would spin clockwise then.
I don't see why it being a 360 camera matters when you're not when you're looking at a smaller portion, right? Like that wouldn't affect this.
Now, if you're at the North
this
Pole,
in no way represents what you're going to see with your eyes looking at the North Pole. Get this video out of your head if you're trying to describe what a human being is going to see looking at the North Pole.
Because what you're seeing on the left, moving in the other direction, is what's wrapped around from the right, right?
Those stars are behind you. They're not in your field of view. You will not see them.
You will never see the southern celestial pole from the North Pole, so.
Or any stars in the southern hemisphere while you're facing due north.
Or due south in the North Pole.
And all be doing so counterclockwise.
We are getting weird now.
The whole reason why it looks that way is because it's a 360 view unwrapped. So that's where the wrap point is, and it's just an artifact of splicing it together.
In 2 weeks, we'll find out.
What I'm saying is could this be what WITSIT is trying to describe? Not that that's what's happening in reality, but like that he's observed that
No, that's not what he's describing. That's not what he described. What he's describing is looking at the North Pole with his regular camera and looking straight up there and seeing stars rotating in different directions.
That's not what I heard at all. I just can't.
That's not what I heard either.
I heard what they posted.
I
heard that he said basically what I heard him saying is if you're in the northern hemisphere, you could see over the equator and see some of the southern hemisphere stars. That's all I heard.
I absolutely did not say that in any way.
Can I finish?
But how would
he said you only see a portion of them?
All right,
yeah,
so
that's what he
go ahead.
said. But listen.
He did not say
said
that.
it proves flat Earth. That's what I didn't get.
But Don, he didn't say anything like that because
he
what
did. Jim, why do you
hang on, because he said in the same portion of the sky. So you can't have what's behind you and say that that's in the same portion of the sky.
Okay, well, I would argue that whatever he's looking at, that's what he would be qualifying as the same portion of the sky. Not a portion of his portion. Let me finish. Not a portion of his portion.
But he absolutely
his view is the portion.
He absolutely didn't say that, and he did say that if he saw what he was describing, would it disprove a globe? And of course, what you're describing supports a globe. So
I agree. That's why I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Why would you say?"
Yeah, because you've misunderstood what he was saying, and
he misunderstands. Most
no,
likely.
you have. He wasn't saying. He wasn't making some big argument that there are two celestial poles, one in the north and one in the south. Don't be silly.
Oh my gosh.
Although he does acknowledge the two poles, and for some reason he thinks that it tumbles sideways through the evening from Australia over to South Africa.
See, Jim, he's invoking Matt. Like I'm trying to tell you, Jim.
No flat earthers claim that there's two poles. Only you jackoffs claim that.
He doesn't have to claim it's a pole. He's claiming that they deviate in a different way. He claimed what y'all posted a picture of. I'm telling you, that's what I heard time after time.
He did not.
If y'all
don't want to hear it, you don't have to.
Did anyone else hear what What percentage? What do you think about what Don said? You think he was just talking about the two celestial poles as we all described them?
No, I didn't hear him. That's why I was the one that asked if anyone could tell me what the claim he made was.
Does anybody else in the room think that he was just talking about the two celestial poles as we normally describe them?
No.
I actually happen to think that as well, but I think he's being deliberately vague.
Yes.
And he's deliberately saying that in the same portion of the sky, when he actually means that in your left to the south, stars rotate the other way, and in your right, they rotate the other way, but he's using in the same direction because it's in your field of view, so it's in the same direction, even though the other stars are in your right and the other stars are in your left. So he's being deliberately vague.
Well, I think he did also use the phrase "looking in the same direction." I think. Am I laying that on him, or did he actually say?
No. Yes, that is the phrase that he uses. So he's being deceptive.
Do you not take turns around here? Is that what the problem is? We don't take turns anymore.
Just asked the question and people were answering it. I bet you weren't going to answer my question, David. So, you know.
If I drive from Chicago to Chile, do you think there's a south celestial pole when I'm looking south of Chile? Yes or no?
Yes.
Wrong answer. Thank you very much.
Be pretty high in the sky.
Thank you for that compelling argument. Moving on.
Can you validate that?
What makes you think if you drive south?
How can you just say that?
If you drive from North America to South America, you think that the stars are going to go a different direction when you get down there? The only thing that happens is you face the other direction.
Right.
And
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That's all you do.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so there's no stars. All you did was turn around. What's your point?
And when you've turned around, the rotation appears to be clockwise now, as opposed to anti-clockwise when you were facing north, right?
Exactly. So what's your point?
Right. So are you arguing then that clockwise and anti-clockwise are the same?
No, they're not using this. You have to use east or west.
No, you don't. Why?
Yes, you do. Unless you want to mislead people.
Well, how am I misleading people? We see a rotation around a central point. We can describe that as clockwise and anti-clockwise. That isn't misleading to anyone.
Here, I got this. Like you're right at the very top, right at the North Pole. Every direction you're looking is south, and you travel south. Everything will be going clockwise, east to west. Right. It will stay that way until you hit the South Pole.
Right.
Then you look up and it will rotate the opposite direction. This has nothing to do with the
why
stars.
you guys, whenever this comes up, this is one of Quantum Eraser's favorites, is to try and pretend that we're arguing that they go in well, I don't know, in different directions.
Right. There's a problem with.
Go ahead.
There's a problem with what Chris just described. And that is as you travel from the North Pole to the South, this clockwise motion, when you get far enough south, past the equator, where you can see the bottom half of the stars, let's say, you've got the southern celestial pole centered in your vision. The stars that are rotating clockwise are going to begin moving in that half of their arc where they're going from your right to your left. And that cannot happen if this is a singular motion, all moving this same direction, as they like to put it, above a flat earth. You can't. If it can, show it to me.
And in that circumstance, Rakia, whose description is more misleading? Yours or mine? I guess he can't get.
Well, obviously it's yours, Jim, because you're not God and he's not reading from your holy book.
Well, clockwise works all the way from north to south, doesn't it? It's left to right, doesn't.
I mean, the other problem I have with that argument as well is just, if we're in South Africa or we're in South America or we're in Southeast Australia, we've got night across those regions at the same time, and we're looking at the same direction to the same star. Whereas obviously on a flat plane, it would have to like scroll along the horizon towards me if I'm looking at a star that appears near the horizon, and that just doesn't happen. So how could we be looking at effectively 90-degree angles to each other and still be seeing the same thing? That does not make sense to me. I've yet to hear a flat earther explain that in any reasonable way.
And it's funny that they say that the stars move from east. So
no,
the
it's
stars
not
move
easy
from.
to make something move 120 degrees around a circle.
Yeah, you don't. These all are apparent positions. None of this stuff has anything to do with the shape of the Earth. They said so in astronomy. The definition of astronomy says
Astronomy
the
does
observation.
not say, the astronomy does not say that it appears 120 degrees around a circle from me as a portion of perspective and apparent vision. Don't lie like that.
Yeah, you must. This is where you're having a hard time with words again. Astronomy, the definition was astronomy. The definition of study of everything in the universe beyond Earth's atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
That
And
includes.
Sorry, go on.
That includes objects we can see with our naked eye, like the sun, the moon, and planets, or in the stars.
Mm.
It has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. It has you can't look up and say, "Holy shit, I know it's down."
That's not what that says.
That's not what I'm saying there, Chris. What
Well,
I'm
go get a
saying is
degree. Go get a degree
taking
curved and come back
wait,
to me then.
1 second. What I'm trying to say is, if we look at the implication, so let's make the implication of what would it mean if the Earth is flat as an observation.
Hello.
And to me, that's where you have a problem. If I've got two people looking at the same star at two times, and on your model, or how you're sort of describing the Earth to be, or whatever you want to call it, that they're at like 90 degrees, looking at 90 by 90-degree different directions, they should not be seeing the same object.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with it, though. That's the problem.
Can I say a quick thing?
Something to do with it.
Can I say a quick thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like when we're talking about the stars moving east to west, if they move from east to west, then I can go north and move east with the stars and go around the rotation point, and I can do the same thing in south. So, I mean, if I can do that in the south, then it's a sphere.
Very good point.
Can't do that on a flat surface.
I think even though the description of astronomy tells us that it's the study of stuff beyond Earth's atmosphere, it doesn't mean that from studying that stuff, we can't find out stuff about the Earth. I just don't think that that's true. And I don't think that definition says that, Crit.
Okay, well, I guess I would disagree because I would use the same logic as I don't measure my ceiling to put my flooring down.
Right, because that's really not a very. That's not a good way.
If I were to put you in a room that had a square base on the floor, could you tell me the shape of the room?
Yeah, what if the square? What if the ceiling is like? Okay, go ahead. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Sorry. I'll get